Welcome to the new TMZ Live, where we bring you inside our newsroom as our staff chases down today's stories in real time.
Welcome to TMZ Live, and welcome back.
Thank you very much. Glad that we decided to wear the same.
This is ridiculous.
Shirt.
It's just ridiculous. Diddy will pledge allegiance to Donald Trump if he's pardoned. And we got this almost from the horse's mouth.
It's as close to the horse's mouth as you can get, considering Diddy is still in MDC Brooklyn right now. But his attorney, one of his attorneys, Mark Garagos, spoke about the possibility of a pardon from Donald Trump.
So we're going to show you this. This was on our Two Angry Men podcast. And I kind of lobbed this at him thinking he'd deflect it and just said, will Diddy pledge allegiance to Donald Trump if he's pardoned? And I thought Mark was going to say, well, we'll see. It's too early. Okay.
Yeah,
it is unequivocal. This is unequivocal. Would Diddy pledge allegiance to Donald Trump in return for a pardon?
I think you want to know the truth. I think yes. There's something about that fraternity of people who have been accused and have gone through the process that gives you an affinity. And it would not surprise me to hear Sean say, I now get it. I understand it. And I was wrong then. And I don't know that I would say he's pledging loyalty, but I think he would probably say, I now get what he went through.
Would I be jumping to conclusions to think that there wasn't a discussion about how Diddy would speak of the president in return for a pardon?
Well, I don't know that there's ever been that discussion. I can't go that far, but I would.
Really?
I would, but it would not.
For those of you listening, Mark just smiled. So, okay, the key words to me are he was wrong then. Because remember, he didn't support Trump the last time around.
And he had very critical things to say.
Right. But he said he was wrong. It's like, nobody really believes he's saying he was wrong then, but as long as he says it, it's good enough for Donald Trump.
The question is it enough to just say, I understand what he went through when he was being prosecuted, or do you have to say something more?
But
I don't think that's enough.
He was wrong then. Yeah. Then has to mean the last election.
So he says two things. First, he says that there's a fraternity that develops and two people believe that they are persecuted by the federal government. That's what he says.
Which I think is true.
But he seems to say that Trump might pardon him because of the fraternity. But then he toggles over to the sort of the like, if he says nice things about him, and that's where you drive the conversation, it's up to Diddy to say nice things about the president, turn his back on what Diddy said before, and then get it.
It's a Chrisley's. It's the Chrisley's daughter wearing a MAGA hat, speaking at the convention.
Yes. And that's why I think it's not just about this fraternity of people being prosecuted. That's not going to be enough for Trump, who's already said, I'm inclined not to pardon this guy because he said bad things about me.
Right.
But so we know he's petty.
And we've seen it. Well, we've seen Donald Trump forgive, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Ted Cruz,
they all
and
had
on
to
and
get
on
board very publicly.
Yes.
Not just take back the things that they had said, but get on board publicly.
J.D. Vance said he was a Nazi, said Donald Trump was a Nazi.
Right.
J.D. Vance
he's vice president,
kissed the ring and he got the vice presidential job.
It's like an Etch-a-Sketch that as long as people will say good things, goes away.
Right.
And Diddy can reset it. So what I'm
Diddy be the next vice president?
No, but I mean, I'm really serious.
Kanye in front of him. He's got a lot of people to go through.
I'm actually really serious. I would not be surprised if his kids start wearing MAGA hats.
Yes. No, absolutely.
I would be very shocked.
Why?
He's not going to.
Wouldn't you do it for your dad? I would wear a MAGA hat for my dad to get him out.
Is Diddy going to make his kids do that?
His kids may want to do it.
All right, if his kids voluntarily do it, but no, I don't see.
And it doesn't matter.
I do not see Christian Combs walking through LAX with a MAGA hat on suddenly. It's so transparent. But I take it back.
It's totally
transparent to the public it just, to the public, you look at it and you go like, there's no way that works. Obviously, we
But
can
it
see
works
what
for
he's
Trump.
doing.
It works for Trump.
This
But
has
it
been
works
so
for Trump.
normalized.
It
But it works for Trump. So
This has been so normalized, we're not even like, boy, what has become of the Republic when this kind of thing is just such obvious quid pro quo for pardons. But this is the country we live in now, where as long as you say nice things about the president, whether you're a university, a business, or an individual, you can get favor from him.
Listen, he may believe, well, you know what? I just saw an unfair prosecution with me, Diddy is saying.
Yes.
And maybe I can empathize more with Trump. So it may actually be deeper than just transactional. It may.
Hello, Mark from Los Angeles. Man, I don't see Diddy's kids doing that, but I do see Diddy, I mean, after the whole industry turned on him and after being denied bail, I can see him tap dancing or doing whatever he needs to do to get out of this situation. I don't know if his kids get involved.
Would you, if you were in a situation, would you?
Man, you gonna really ask me that? But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, yes, man.
we appreciate the honesty. We appreciate the honesty. Jennifer Aniston is speaking out about her friend Matthew Perry and mourning him, something that she says she was doing even before he died. She did an interview with Vanity Fair and was asked about the mourning process and about life after Matthew Perry's death. And she said that this is something that she and the other friends, castmates, kind of saw coming, is really what she was saying.
Well, they didn't just see it coming. They were dealing with it for decades.
Yeah.
Literally decades. This was going on during the show.
And she says because they'd been dealing with it for so long, they basically had said goodbye to him long before he died.
Well, and I just want to say, before you get into what she said, I've read his book and know about him.
Right.
He almost died several times before he actually died.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what she's referring to
right.
here. She says, we, meaning the castmates, we did everything we could when we could. It almost felt like we'd been mourning Matthew for a long time because his battle with that disease was a really hard one for him to fight. As hard as it was for all of us and for the fans, there's a part of me that thinks this is better. I'm glad he's out of that pain.
That is so interesting that she says that, almost like I don't know how to mince it. It's a blessing he died because he's in a better space because he was suffering so much.
For suffering for so much and for so long.
But what I find like really interesting about this, because again, when you read his book, he was clean, I think, when he wrote it. At least he said he was.
Right.
But who knows? But when you read the book, you believe this time is different. And, he talks about that need, but he talks about how he went back and forth and how bad it got. And it was awful. Yeah. When it was awful, he was one of the most famous people in the world, and he spent most of his time in dark rooms with drug addicts scoring drugs. And
we now know what was happening at the end of his life, that he was, again, this wasn't in dark rooms with drug addicts.
It was with doctors.
It was with doctors scoring it. And we know that they've been prosecuted for that. But it is interesting to hear Jennifer admit that they kind of knew this wasn't going to end well.
Well, I mean, again, he almost died several times.
Right, and they were so close to him that they knew it long before the public even knew that there was an issue.
Especially her, that of all the Friends cast, she was the one who really, they were all really good to him, but she really tried. And he acknowledges this in the book, that she was the one who was really trying to save him. I just find it so interesting and honest that she's saying he was so tortured that in a way he's in a better place. Yeah. And that's a hard thing to say. And on a surface level, it might sound heartless, but deeper down, it's really impactful.
Hi, my name is Tanisha. I'm from Anchorage, Alaska, and I understand why Jennifer said that. She's being very transparent. Matthew Perry struggled for a really long time with addiction, and they were the closest to him, so they saw it. And when you see your friend slip away in front of you like that, it's just heartbreaking. So I think it was in a way of kind of preparing for something that she was hoping never happened, and it was a sad situation all the way around.
His stepdad, Keith Morrison, who's on Dateline, I remember he said right after Matthew died, it's heartbreaking, but not surprising.
Coming up.
Jimmy Kimmel is ready to fly the Coupe. He is prepared to leave America if necessary, if this war that he's had going for years now with Donald Trump gets worse.
Is he saying, I'm going to leave if my show gets cancels or if it gets difficult in America?
Be right back.
Jimmy Kimmel is ready to fly the Coupe. He is prepared to leave America if necessary, if this war that he's had going for years now with Donald Trump gets worse.
He didn't say what necessary means. That's the thing.
Right.
So it wasn't even so much, look, Trump said Jimmy Kimmel is next after Stephen Colbert's show got canceled. The reality is Stephen Colbert was beating Jimmy Kimmel. So
if you're just going by ratings, any other late night host, Colbert had the best ratings. So if you're the others, you're like, well, I don't know, maybe I could be.
They're
gone.
neck and neck, but yeah.
But the thing is, ratings don't seem to matter if you believe the narrative, which may be true, that Trump just didn't like Colbert because Colbert was super critical of him, and so is Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
So the question,
Maybe more so.
So is Jimmy Kimmel saying, he was on a podcast with Sarah Silverman, but is he saying, I'm going to leave if my show gets cancels or if it gets difficult in America? And I
think it's the latter, but
okay, here's what he said.
A lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get citizenship and
I do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do?
I do.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I do have that. And what's going on is as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Way worse.
It's so much worse. It's just unbelievable. Like, I feel like it's probably even worse than he would like it to be.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it is the latter. It sounds like it is but I don't know what he's saying about.
Because Jimmy's never been about, yes, he is, there's a part where he acknowledges, look, I could be on the chopping block, my show could be on the chopping block, but his complaints have always been about what he feels the president is doing to the country and to
But what is he talking about if it gets too difficult? Meaning what? Meaning
Right,
what?
does that mean the show? I don't know. Does he mean show cancel?
He talked a lot about immigration. He talked about how crazy it is that people are living in fear that they are suddenly going to be taken.
But that's happening right now.
Right. Yeah.
But he's talking,
Right.
he sounds like he's talking
saying
the future. If it gets, well, it's already gotten in that sense. So it's got to be something more than immigration.
I would love to hear I hope he has a fresh show tonight. I would love to hear what Jimmy Kimmel is going to say about
the National
Guard being rolled out in D.C. To police.
So hold on. So you know why I think he's doing this?
Why?
I know this sounds.
Oh boy.
Why?
Here we go. Let me.
Take a seat. Conspiracy theory inbound.
I am not sure.
Why?
I am not sure Donald Trump is going to leave office voluntarily in 2029 on January 20th.
Why?
Well, if he's because crime is actually down by double digits in D.C. And now he's now he's calling in the National Guard. Am I wrong here?
But you can be funny with numbers. It's one of the most unsafe cities in the country. Period.
It's going down.
Okay, that's great.
It's getting better.
Is it horrible or no?
But he's saying it's getting worse.
Okay, but what does that have?
Hold on.
What does that have to do with it?
What does that have to do with him not leaving office?
Why is he if he's calling the National Guard in?
Right.
So the National Guard runs D.C.
Right.
And he is in control of the National Guard. It's a lot easier.
So when you thought it was the Washington, D.C. Police Department that was going to go and bring him out of office?
I don't know, Babcock.
No, I think this is crazy.
I don't know.
You said this last time, too. You said this in 2020.
So
there was a riot.
But he walked that.
There was a riot.
I'm saying after that, though, you said no way he's leaving the White House, and he did.
The Congress was fleeing.
No, I'm not. I'm saying after January 6th, you said he's not leaving, and then he walked out of the White House.
He didn't want to walk out of the White House.
January 6th didn't work out.
Oh my God, you know that. Jeez.
The whole point of January 6th is so that he wouldn't have to leave.
After.
I'm Sean from Newark, Delaware. I think Jimmy Kimmel is just joking about leaving the U.S. Like, come on, y'all. Like, he's a comedian, and he's extremely sarcastic. He's always joking on people. But I also think he's really good at pointing out what he doesn't like about Donald Trump and how he's running the country, but he makes it very entertaining. So those are my thoughts on the situation.
Can I give you two comedians that you're going to have to reckon with here? Ellen DeGeneres and Rosie O'Donnell. They both did leave the country, and they're funny.
Courtney Kardashian got Britney speared this weekend.
Oh,
Speared?
Wait a minute. Wait. That could mean some bad things.
It could mean some bad things. Actually, it could have been something really bad, but she got a lesson in motherhood, which is weird.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this the car seat thing?
It's kind of like the car seat thing, except in this case, it's a boat. Courtney and the fam were out
life jackets
on a boat, and they had Rocky on the boat. She was cradling Rocky while they're on this speedboat.
Life jackets.
And Rocky did not have a life jacket on.
Ha!
And
I guessed it.
People came for her in the comments. What's weird about this is Courtney Kardashian, who has 3 other kids already?
3 other kids.
Right. This seems like a lesson.
But look, I'm not a parent, but sometimes you think when you raise them successfully, they're going to be okay, and sometimes you overprotect.
Right,
even though life jackets are not overprotected.
They're very important, but maybe it never came up before. Maybe she never posted.
Here's what I don't understand. They got a whole social media team, all of them. And when they post something, they've got to know.
They got to look at every detail of this photo, like what is going to be picked apart here.
They know that if he's not wearing a life jacket, people are going to trash it.
I think,
they know.
When you see the photo, I think she just thought, oh, this is a cute mommy and son moment, and everyone will eat this up. Right?
No,
that's what she thought.
Yeah, she wasn't thinking there were safety concerns.
How old is he?
I mean,
What Rocky is?
21 months.
21 months?
Do they make life jackets that small?
Of course,
well,
of course they do.
That's what everyone said in the comments.
I mean, it looks
she
like
bought
there's even
one.
one
She
right
bought
next
one
to it.
after it.
Oh, is that? Wait a minute. Is that?
That kind of looks
no,
like
that's
that would be
too
one.
big for a little kid.
Well, not for him. No,
that's
but
too big for a little kid.
It makes you click. There's a life jacket right there on the boat. Where's the one for the baby?
Well, no. Can you get a life jacket that small?
Yes.
There's an answer to that. Courtney said after seeing all the backlash in the comments, she said, update, bought a life vest that fits. Good looking out. Honestly, didn't think about some of the dangers.
Which is crazy. Come on.
That's the part that's
You didn't
weird.
think.
How would you not? I mean, maybe she'd never been on a boat with the other
Well,
kids.
it's just not true, and she's like the most over protective mom.
No,
Of
hold on.
course
Let
she
me see
thought
that.
about
Let me
it.
see that again. No, because what she said was,
It fits. I bought one that fits.
Yeah, I bought one that fits, meaning she probably had one that didn't fit. Maybe it was this one, and then she realized that doesn't work. Oh, crap.
Kristen Clemens, Dayton, Ohio. For anybody that's been on a yacht, you're moving around the yacht, you're moving around the boat, but she should have had a life jacket on that baby. She took it in stride, but you guys know it's all just jealousy. We wish we had her money, we wish we had her man, and we wish we had her boat.
I was just going to say, that's exactly. I was thinking of the boat. I was thinking of the boat.
I want to know where they were. I mean, it looked really idyllic there.
I want that boat.
Coming up.
There is a product that millions of Americans are using. It's called Kratom, and it is actually a substance that is extremely dangerous and addictive. Someone who has dealt with the negative effects of Kratom, and she has come through the other side. She's here to share her story.
I was drinking anywhere from 9 to 12 bottles a day.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water? I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. There is a product that millions of Americans are using, a completely legal product. 2 to 15 million Americans use this thing. It's called Kratom. And if you've been in a convenience store, at a gas station, you have seen either Kratom pills or liquids like Feel Free that use this substance. And it is actually a substance that is extremely dangerous and addictive, according to a lot of researchers, a lot of scientists, and now the U.S. government is taking aim at this. And you had HHS Secretary RFK Jr. saying that the government wants to treat it like an illicit drug. So why is it that you can so freely get it? And what does it actually do to you? Joining us right now is someone who has dealt with the negative effects of Kratom, and she has come through the other side, and she's here to share her story. Jasmine Uwe. Sorry, Jasmine, if I butchered the last name there. But thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to TMZ Live. Please share with the audience why you started buying this product and what it did for you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I got sober from alcohol in June of 2022, and one of my favorite wellness podcasts, which they're very much about like holistic wellness and really just taking care of yourself, all good ingredients, started promoting this product as an alcohol alternative for sober people. And it sounded like a godsend. The two hosts of the podcast were going on a hiatus from alcohol, so very similar to my situation. And they promoted this as something that you could drink out with friends. You wouldn't have to have a hangover or have any of the negative effects of alcohol, something that was non-addictive, or I thought was non-addictive at the time. So I tried it. The first time I tried it, I had a lot of adverse and negative effects, but I did try it a second time because I just wanted to see what the hype was about. And maybe I just had a bad first experience. And the second time is when it did give me a very, very euphoric feeling. People often compare it to like taking pain pills, something that definitely should not be sold over the counter. And it was just a slow progression from there into addiction. So
when you say that you had addiction, how much of this product were you taking daily or weekly?
At the height of my addiction, which I got clean in March of 2024, I was drinking anywhere from 9 to 12 bottles a day. And it wasn't immediately that many. At the very beginning of me taking them, it was a very, very slow progression into a snowball of addiction. And that's what's so scary about this product, is that you think it's working really well for you. You think it's making you more productive and energized and adding a lot of value to your life. And then one day you're taking an extra bottle and then a bottle on top of that. And it just slowly becomes more and more until you're in full-blown addiction, which I've never experienced in my life before.
How would you say it compared when you realized you were addicted to this product? How was that compared to you said that you decided to get clean from alcohol. What was the feeling? How would you compare those two feelings?
Yeah, so when I quit alcohol, I didn't have any physical withdrawals because I wasn't drinking every single day. I was just a very heavy binge drinker. I've always kind of struggled with not being able to take things in moderation, but this feel-free drink was a beast that I had never experienced before. I had never had, physical withdrawals from alcohol. And when I started having physical withdrawals from feel-free, that was really scary. And that's when I had to ask myself, am I physically dependent on this? Because it really wasn't that way for so long. And then it really snuck up on me. So that was scary. And it was really scary to open up to people about, because you feel like something's wrong with you because you become addicted to a quote unquote wellness tonic, when reality it's, marketed as something completely different.
So what do you think about the government saying that this is tantamount to an illicit drug and that is how they're going to treat it, which I would imagine if they go through with that, that means that these products go away from convenience stores and now suddenly it's going to have to be something that is prescribed, and if you can get it at all.
I think it's an amazing step forward. I feel like my voice and many other voices are finally being heard. I've been posting about this product and my addiction for the past year with, little to no progress as far as seeing, actionable steps and getting them taken off the shelves, because this is 100% a drug. And it would be ignorant to say otherwise. So, I think we're making a lot of positive steps in the right direction.
Well, we will see where this goes. We should say it is, you say it's very much like a drug. The source of it is a plant, right? That in Southeast Asia, and they ground. I mean, it's not unlike cocaine, which also comes from a plant, but we know what that does, and heroin too. So this is going to be interesting to see where it goes going forward. Jasmine, thank you so much for sharing your story. I think a lot of people, this is opening eyes to a product they see every day in a grocery store or a convenience store, and so you think can't be harmful. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Coming up.
This morning, President Trump decided that he was going to go after Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. This time, he's calling her out and saying she needs to take a certain test that he's sure he can beat her on. So we're going to talk to the Congresswoman about that.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. By the way, if you didn't notice in the last segment, Harvey had to take off, but we are moving on here. And actually, we're going to get into something he said a little earlier, one of his conspiracy theories. But this morning, President Trump decided that he was going to go after Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, which is not shocking. They are nemesis. They often have a lot of things to say about each other. This time, he's calling her out and saying she needs to take a certain test that he's sure he can beat her on. So we're going to talk to the Congresswoman about that. But we're also, since he made that attack on her, he has also announced that, as we referenced earlier in the show, the National Guard, he's going to be deploying the National Guard in Washington, D.C. to patrol the streets of D.C. as if they were local police. Joining us right now to talk about all this is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Congresswoman, welcome back to TMZ Live. How you doing?
I'm making it.
It has been an interesting morning for you. We're going to get to the your IQ, as the president brought it up this morning. But I got to tell you, wondering what's your take on this National Guard deployment in D.C. It's, you know, we'll get into Harvey's conspiracy theory on it in a moment, but just what do you see, how you see this playing out?
You know, this is absolutely unnecessary. It is really disrespectful to our National Guard as well as to those city elected leaders that are doing their jobs. We know that there is a 30-year low as it relates to crime in DC. And what we see is a president who does not want to operate with any boundaries whatsoever. This is somebody that consistently invokes emergency powers so that he can do whatever he wants to. And frankly, the only emergency that we have is that people were naive enough to elect him back to office. Our crisis is him sitting in the White House. It is not the people that are running DC. It is not the people that are running LA or the state of California. It is not those of us that are trying to make sure that there's a real check on him as elected members of Congress. It is him. He is the crisis, and he is the one that we really need to make sure that we get a handle on.
What do you think is the president's real motivation here? If things are getting better already, then why deploy the National Guard in an American city?
Well, we know that DC is chocolate city, okay? And so the idea of putting these persons who, to be clear, are not trained to do law enforcement. Soldiers are trained to kill. They are not trained to do investigatory work of petty theft and petty crimes that are taking place. And so he also wants to make sure that there is someone that is over this federal policing body that he's decided to employ that bends the knee to him. So right now, like DC police, they don't answer to him, right? But we know that he has his federal minions all over the place who just will do whatever he wants them to do, which means that most likely more terror is coming to our streets than being taken off our streets, because that's typically what he invokes, is terror on our streets. He is the one that decided that January 6ers were so good that they should be let out of prison and allowed to terrorize our streets, as so many of those January 6ers have since then been incarcerated for crimes like killing somebody, crimes like raping children. Some of them have already lost their lives trying to play with law enforcement. These are the guys that he thinks are the good guys.
It's interesting you brought up January 6th because, and this goes to this conspiracy theory that Harvey and others have put forward, that the real reason he's doing this is to be able to actually control the Capitol. And we know that on January 6th, the people who stood between the people who were the insurrectionists were local police, as well as the Capitol Police. So is this about really being able to control the Capitol? At least, do you put do you think that there's anything to that theory that this is a test to see if he can actually control the policing of the Capitol if he were to decide he's not going to leave office at the end of his term?
I don't know that I believe that. I think that it's still more of what we saw kind of in LA. It is more so he loves to go after communities specifically that are led by Black women. This is yet another city that has a Black woman as a mayor. And so I think that it is trying to make it seem as if they are incompetent, to make it seem as if they are low IQ, and to make people feel like they are not doing their jobs. And so I think that this is really about making sure that he can bridge a wedge between the people and their elected representation.
So you referenced Mayor Bowser, and I'm wondering now if you had a conversation with Mayor Bowser about going in on get a deal on an IQ test, as the president did suggest this morning in a rant that, by the way, seemed to come out of nowhere. Obviously, we know that you have been very critical of him. You never hold your tongue when it comes to, but you haven't said anything recently, and I didn't understand why this morning he went on Truth Social and started this attack with you, saying that you're a low IQ individual, something we've heard him say about Charlemagne the God recently, but you're a low IQ individual and that you need to take the test, referring to the competency test, which, by the way, is different from an IQ test. That also seems strange. But why this attack this morning, seemingly out of nowhere?
It's funny that you point out that he doesn't even know the difference in the test that he takes in an IQ test, yet he's the one that's suggesting that I need an IQ test. Not to mention, I mean, based on the fact that my daddy isn't the one that got me into my schooling, and the fact that I have a little bit more education than he does, meaning I have more earned degrees than he does, I don't have time to play games with him. And the fact that you are the sitting president of the United States, and for whatever reason, you are waking up before I'm even awake on today so that you could try to drag me on your bootleg website, like, it doesn't even make sense to me. Like, why is it that people take him seriously? And then the bad part is that when we get 4 years from now and it's time to elect somebody, unfortunately, the entire country will look at whoever is running on the Democratic side, and they will have one bar that they use to say, you've got to meet this standard or this level, yet you allowed this fool in.
So, will you take the test?
Listen, my constituents don't have any concerns, but if he wants to do a test, yeah, so long as it's real people that's administering, not the bootleg doctors that claim he was perfect.
Congresswoman, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to see you.
All right.
Coming up.
Halle Berry's ears must have been ringing because one of her exes had a lot to say about her and their time together. David Justice is opening up about what went wrong and actually seems to suggest here that it would have worked out if he had done a few things differently.
Be right back.
Well, Halle Berry's ears must have been ringing because one of her exes had a lot to say about her and their time together. David Justice, the former MLB star, was talking about his time when he and Halle Berry were married. This was late 90s, I think 93 through 97. And it ended very badly. And now David Justice is opening up about what went wrong. And part of this is going to sound kind of harsh, but I think what he's really saying here is he wants to own up to what he could have done differently. And actually, he seems to suggest here that it would have worked out if he had done a few things differently.
We probably could have made it. If I knew about therapy, if we knew about therapy, we probably could have made it because we never had any major issues like that. Mm-hmm. It's just that because I was young and had only been in, honestly, one real relationship before her, my knowledge and my understanding, my wisdom around relationships just wasn't vast. I'm looking at my mom, and I'm a Midwest guy, so in my mind, I'm thinking a wife at that time should cook, clean.
Traditional.
You know, and then I'm thinking, okay, if we have kids, you know, is this the woman I want to have kids with and build a family with?
Wow. Like I said, part of that seemed kind of harsh, right? I'm thinking of my mom is like, So the problem was Halle Berry wasn't cooking, cleaning.
He said her motherly instincts were just not there, and he was like thinking, like, if I were to eventually have kids with her, is this someone I would be satisfied with, because he saw his mother cooking and cleaning, which honestly, I could not believe he is actually admitting to this now in 2025. The fact that because you can feel like that.
I think he's well-intentioned in what he's saying here is that I needed to learn, I should have been better educated and known that a woman doesn't need to just cook and clean. But it comes off the way he said it.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I feel like he's saying that he's kind of standing by that he wants a woman that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like there's a lot of men that are very traditional in that sense. I'm from the South. I personally like to cook and clean. I don't want to be told that I have to do it necessarily to be married. Right. But there are men that have that connotation or that train of thought, and there's nothing wrong with it if that's what floats your boat.
You also have to remember, Halle Berry was a huge superstar at that point.
So was he.
Right, but my point is, if he was expecting her at some point to start cooking and cleaning, and like that she would understand the way a woman's supposed to raise take care of a household the way he wanted it, that wasn't going to happen.
No, and it's very
different. She didn't have time for that.
And can't we just, at that point, we've got so much money, can't we just pay someone to do it?
Name's Derek from the Bay Area, and like, man, why are we talking about a relationship that happened 30 years ago? I understand, everything that happened, but like, that's Halle Berry, man. She ain't cooking and cleaning. You handle that.
Yeah, it's hard to get anybody on your side if you had Halle Berry and then you don't. And by the way, I will say, in fairness to David, you asked why he was talking about it. Well, he was on All the Smoke podcast, and I'm sure that they brought it up, and that's why he was open about it. All right, every week we put up some polls on the website. We want to see what you guys think about some of the stories we covered. We did it this weekend, and here are the results. The Kardashians are still interesting or big yawn. Yeah, everyone's going to take the negative, but guess what? They still watch her TV show, and they watch what they wear, so they must think something of them. Now I like Sydney Sweeney more or less? Less. But it's still pretty close. This is the thing. Anytime you do something that is perceived as political, you're going to lose half your audience, but it's still pretty even. Kristi Noem calls out South Park over plastic surgery joke. Good on her. It was sexist, or if the shoe fits. I'm going to go if the shoe fits. I missed that episode last week. Anyway, last one. Keep daylight savings time. I love it or I hate it. Why did this one come up? All right, well, Harvey, here's your answer. 65% hate it, only 35% love it. It's every year, actually twice a year, it comes up. People just losing their mind about daylight savings time.
Coming up.
Jennifer Lopez had a guest star during her latest concert, one pretty sure she did not want.
Be right back.
Jennifer Lopez had a guest star during her latest concert, one I'm pretty sure she did not want, although she handled it pretty well. We had a stage crasher in the form of an insect, a pretty big one that, I'll be honest, I don't like bugs, but she handled this like the pro she is. She was performing in Kazakhstan, a place that she performs quite a bit. I guess they really love her in Kazakhstan. And while she was in the middle of the performance, something started crawling up her chest. And then went all the way up to her.
At first, I thought that was the spotlight on it, not like just in the video.
the spotlight operator.
Yeah, like it was like a part of the show.
See, she couldn't. Wow.
I mean,
and did it with some flourish there that almost made it seem choreographed.
Like you said, it's like most people I feel like are grossed out by bugs. Like, like when you walk in like a spider web and then you feel like you have a spider on you. I feel like, she handled it pretty well because like you said, it's obviously she's in the middle of her performance. She has no idea, then just feels
at a moment where she really has to like focus on her singing.
And it didn't even look like she even looked down, really.
It would have been one thing if this was like where she's just dancing.
Right.
But she had to focus on hitting that note and singing there, which some critics have said is not necessarily her strong point.
I'm Jason, Fresno, California. This really reminds me of J-Lo was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the hill, no limits, all dreams. But in all seriousness, she handled this like a pro. And in some cultures, they say it's a positive omen if a grasshopper lands on you. If you know, you know.
Yeah, that's what they always say, but I could do without the giant bugs crawling on me. No, thank you. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Dave in Atlanta, this Diddy pardons kind of got me thinking. I think it comes down to whether Trump thinks he can gain anything. Diddy has cultural and political influence, but Diddy really trashed Trump during the election, and Trump's big into loyalty. And I don't understand or see a reason for Trump to weather the storm of pardoning Diddy when he could just ally with other influencers that don't have the tarnished reputation like Diddy does.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it, that how much is Trump going to get if Diddy does pledge loyalty to him? I guess that depends on whether you think Diddy's career is completely done or whether or not he still will have influence in show business.
Ashley here from Arizona. In regards to Jennifer Aniston mourning the loss of Matthew Perry before his passing, I think anybody who has experienced somebody who is in active addiction can understand that you're basically watching them die a slow death. And there's it's a disease, so you don't really have control over the outcome of how it's going to go. I think you just expect the worst and brace for that, but hope for the best.
Yeah, I think you are correct, and that's exactly how Jennifer Aniston described it. That you lose that person to the addiction, especially as long as Matthew Perry was battling it. I still think what's remarkable here is that she was so honest about what she and the rest of the castmates were feeling about him.
Coming up.
Well, I don't know what you guys did with your weekend, but you should have been on the TMZ After Dark Tour. We had this week Jerry O'Connell on Friday night.
Jerry was so funny on the tour. He was like twerking with everyone.
Okay, all right.
And Chanel, she used the tour to kind of debut that she's going country, and she sang.
Really? That's awesome. By the way, if you come to Hollywood and you want to go to some of these places, you probably can't get in. So that's another reason.
It's like the best party in Hollywood.
Be right back.
Well, I don't know what you guys did with your weekend, but you should have been on the TMZ After Dark Tour. This is a party rolling through Hollywood now every weekend. We've shown you Ray J hosting. Well, we got 2 new hosts this weekend. And by the way, we're doing it on Friday and Saturdays now. We had this week Jerry O'Connell on Friday night and Chanel West Coast on Saturday night. These guys, they can MC a party. And Netta, you were there for the action?
Jerry O'Connell and Chanel West Coast take over the TMZ After Dark Tour. And Jerry was so funny on the tour. He was like twerking with everyone.
Okay, all right.
And Chanel, she used the tour to kind of debut that she's going country, and she sang.
Really?
She was like taking shots with us too. So
yeah, well, we should say that, the tour stops at different bars on the Sunset Strip and other places in Hollywood.
So on Friday nights, we stop at 3 iconic bars, and then on Saturday nights, we stop at 3 different iconic bars. So each one, you get a free treat. It's like historic bars like the Rainbow Room and the Saddle Ranch. Yeah, we just added the Rainbow Room.
That's awesome. By the way, if you come to Hollywood and you want to go to some of these places, you probably can't get in. So that's another reason. And obviously, there are going to be some celebrity encounters that we hope for.
Oh, yeah.
But even if you don't get that, you're having a blast.
A blast. It's like the best party in Hollywood.
Well said.